Morning, class. So today is another session of mathematics, HTTM and foundational class. All right, so in this class, we'll be working with, in the last class, we gave an assessment. So what we'll be doing in these classes, we'll just be providing the solutions to the assessment questions given in the last class, which definitely was yesterday. All right, so you'll see these questions on your screen, and then I'll be working on them on the board and explaining them as we go through them together. All right, so let's get to it. So we'll be taking the first question. The first question is from a topic called binary. So the question says convert 1231 rather 1231 base 4 to a number in base 6. Convert 1231 base 4 to a number in base 6. So here's the question: 1231 base 4 to 6. So now when we are converting in binary operations, first thing you want to do is when you're converting from one base to another base, you can't do it directly, which means you have to first convert a particular given base to base 10, then from base 10 to the needed base. Like in this question, I have my question in base 4, which is 1231 base 4. I'm converting it to base 10 first, and what I get, I convert it to base 6. I hope that's fine. So what I'm going to do here is say, how do I convert to base 4? Say 1231. First now do is I'll give indexes to these numbers starting from 0 from the back. So I have this 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 indexes starting from 0. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to multiply this by the base with the square of the, or with the power of the index, and add, multiply the next number by the base to the power of the index, and add up just like that. So what do I mean? I mean 1, which is the first number, multiplied by, what's my base? My base is 4. I believe most of you know how to convert to base 10. All right, so this will be raised to the power of 3, which is my index that I had. The next number is 2, multiplied by my base, which is base 4. Raised to the power of the index, and I had the next one, which is 3, multiplied by base 4, raised to the power of the index, which is 1. Then I had 1 times 4 raised to the power of 0, the index of the last number. 0, don't forget, I'm starting my indexes from 0. I'm moving backwards from right to left. I'm taking my index from right to left. 0, 1, 2, 3. Like that. If you have 7 digits, you keep going in that way. All right. So now what we are going to do here is we're going to calculate. So I have 1 times 4 raised to the power of 3. That's 1 times 4 times 4. That's the meaning of 4 raised to the power of 3. So that should be 64 plus 2 times 4 raised to the power of 2. That's 4 times 4, which is 16 plus 3 times 4 raised to the power of 1 is still 4, plus 1 times any number raised to the power of 0 is still 1. Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. So I have 1 times 1. So here I'm going to have 1 times 4, 64, plus 2 times 16, 52, plus 3 times 4, 12, plus 1. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'll have to add this. I'll have to add this up. So I have 64 plus 32. That should give me 96 plus 12. That should give me 108. Then plus 1, that's 19. So now I have 19 in this thing. So the first thing I did is I converted this to base 10, but we are not done. Let's convert this now to base 6. So to convert this to base 6, how do I do it? We draw a table, or we draw, compose the table. You call this number, and you call this remainder. You can call this divisor or anything. So this is the base. My base is base 6. Converting to base 6. My number is 109. Don't forget. So 6 and 109. Oh, rather, I should have my 109 here. My 109 should be here. So 6 and 109, guys. 18, a remainder of 1. Then 6 and 18 is 3, remainder 0. Then 6 and 3, 0, remainder 3. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write this starting from down upwards, like from here upwards. So I'm going to draw an arrow to show you the direction of how I'm going to arrange my numbers. So which means after converting 1231 to base 10, I got 109. In converting 109 base 10 to base 6, I got 301. Don't forget to add the base 6. I think that's clear. So the first thing is convert to base 10, and from base 10 to your given base. So you have 301 base 6. So my answer is 301 base 6, which is option B. All right. So we'll move to the next question. I hope you guys are following me. Move to the next question. The next question says, make X the subject of the relation y equals to 3 minus log of x. So it says y equals to 3 minus ln x, or ln x, or the log of x. So I have this. So I'm to make x the subject of formula. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring this. I want to make ln x stand alone. So I have ln x is equal to 3 minus y. And if you guys know how I did it, I brought this to this side and I brought this to this side. So when I'm bringing this ln x to this side, it's changing from negative sign to positive sign. I'm having ln x here. And then I'm bringing my y, which is positive here. I'm bringing it to this side. It's becoming negative. So I have ln x is equal to 3 minus y. So now for me to get this, what's the best thing I can do is to use the this raised to power function, Euler's function. So what this means is I'm going to use the Euler's function on both sides. What Euler's function simply means is it will take this and raise to the power of both sides. So what this means is e ln x, e raised to power of ln x is equal to e raised to power of 3 minus y. Why am I doing this? Why I'm doing this is to get rid of this ln x. So I believe if you guys know this, e ln x is equal to x. This is a proven equation, e ln x is equal to x. Why? Because this is simply taking the log of x and raising it to the power. So that's why we are getting x. All right. So e ln x is equal to x. So since I have the e ln x here, I will say x is equal to.
So I don't understand that part too.
Why? All right. Which part of it?
The part of the next.
Next. All right. So you get it clearly to this part, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
It's equal to 3 minus y.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I'm doing here is I want to get rid of this ln x. And now to get rid of this ln x, we have a proven formula which I wrote here, which says e raised to the power of ln x is equal to x. This is a formula already, a proven formula. What it does is this e ln x is like canceling out this, right? This e is canceling out this ln x. So we're having x, rather, we're having e ln x is equal to x. So what we are simply doing is, for us to get the value of this, we raise the power of this to e, which means I'm doing it on both sides. Just like if you want to call it like them, you say divide through by 3 or divide through by 4, something like that. So what we are doing here is we are bringing Euler's function into these two equations. As Euler's function simply means taking what you have, raising it to the power of this e. This is called Euler, this e. So what I'm doing is bringing it to these two sides, e raised to the power of ln x for the first side, and I'm doing it for this side too. Remember, I said why I'm doing this is because I want to get x as a standard unit, as a variable on its own. I don't want it to have any coefficients. I think you get that. So, and then I already have that e raised to the power of ln x is equal to x. And I say I replace this x with e raised to the power of ln x, and I say x is equal to e raised to the power of 3 minus y. Is that clear? Is that better now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, very good. I like a class very, very interactive. It means you guys are following me. All right. So if you have any questions, you can just raise your hands and then ask your questions. So you get the answer as e raised to the power of e raised to the power of 3 minus y, which is option A, right? Which is option A. So that's for the second question. So moving on to the third question. Third question is a question on simple interest. Yes, a question on simple interest. So the question says an investor who invested 6,500 naira at some simple interest rate collected a bill amount of 7,800 after 4 years. How much simple interest will you have collected after 2 years if you invested 9,000 naira? I believe we did this question in one of our classes when we're treating simple interest. So we'll just go through it again. So the question says an investor who invested 6,500 at some simple interest rate. So let's now to write this. Simple interest rate 6,500 naira. Don't forget this naira. And have it here at the back of your mind. The formula for simple interest is I equals to PRT over 100. So I want to write out all numbers given in the questions. These are parameters. So I have P is equal to, which is my principal, is equal to 6,500, which was the amount invested. Now, after 4 years, which is the time, 4 years, he collected an amount of 7,800. So I is unknown, and then the rate is also unknown. Now, what we want to do here is this is the first question. This is the first part of the question. First part of the question says an investor who invested 6,500 naira at some simple interest rates, which is R. They didn't specify the rate in the question. Amount to 7,800 after 4 years. So my 4 years is time 4 years, and the amount is 7,800. So now, how do I get my interest? Interest is simply, or let me say, amount is equal to principal plus interest. Don't forget, amount is equal to principal plus interest. So which means the total amount collected after 4 years was the sum of its principal plus the interest after that 4 years or after that particular duration, as the case may be. All right. So in this case, in our question here, I have my amount of 7,800. Don't forget, I'm trying to calculate the interest, 7,800. My principal is 6,500 plus I, which is interest. So from here, what I'll do is I calculate like things. I'll see I is equal to 7,800 minus 6,500. So yeah, I see I is equal to 1,300. Right? Don't forget, you're working in naira. Unit is naira. So I have my interest as 1,300. Now the next thing for me is to calculate the rate. I already know the value of my interest. I want to calculate my rate. How do I calculate my rate? Don't forget, I have a formula here which is I is equal to PRT over 100. Okay, so take this out. And I can see since I is equal to PRT over 100, I have my I as 1,300. Writing this, then my P is 6,500 multiplied by R times 4 divided by 100. So from here, I can say this 100 can cancel out this 6,500 and I'll be left with 65. So from here, I'll say 1,300 is equal to 65 times R times 4. So I'll say 1,300 is equal to, so first thing is I'll multiply 65 times 4, which is going to give me 260 times R. So now for me to get the value of my RA, what am I going to do? I'm going to divide through by 260. Why am I dividing through by 260? Because I want to take out this. Why am I dividing through by 260? It's because I want to take out this coefficient of RA. So I'll divide by 260 and I'll divide by 260. So from here, this 260 can cancel this 260. And I'll have R is equal to 1,300 over 260. And I'll say if I divide this, I should get 5. So my R is 5%. All right. So I have my R as 5%, but this is not where we are going in the question. The question really asks us to find rates. The question asks us to find how much would he have collected after 2 years if he had invested 9,000 naira. That was the question. How much simple interest would he have collected after 2 years if he had invested 9,000 naira? So that's what the question is asking us to find. Now the question is asking us to find the interest on 9,000 naira for 2 years. That's just what the question is asking us. Don't forget, the rate remains the same, right? The rate is still 5%. So I have my I is unknown. Yes. The principal is now 9,000 naira because this is the principal we want to calculate the interest for. My rate remains 5%. And now the years is, the time is 2 years. So using the same simple interest formula, I have I is equal to, which is 9,000 multiplied by 5 times 2 divided by 100. So from here, I cancel, I use this 100 to take out this 9,000, I'll be left with 90. And I can see I is equal to 90 times 5 times 2, which I is equal to 900 naira. 90 times 10, 900. So I have my interest as 900 naira. So what this means is if he had invested 9,000 naira, after 2 years, he will have gained an extra interest of 900 naira. So which is option D. That answers our question. I hope you guys are following me. If you have any question, you can just specify and then you can address the question. Okay, so in absence of no question, we move to the next question, which is number 4. So All right, so the fourth question says 260 is 9 divided by 100 is 4 is equal to 66. Actually, this question, after you solve it, I don't think the answer is there. And from what I'm saying, the question is actually not correct. Or the typographic error or something. So what you do in this question, when you are given this question, is the first thing you do is you convert this to base. You convert to base 10, convert this to base 10, and you also convert this to base 10. So let's do one after the other. So 60 base 9 is equal to 2 times 9. Don't forget 0, 1, 2. I don't want to waste time on this because the question is not correct. So 6 times 9 plus 0 times 9 is equal to 1. So this will give me 2 times 1, right? 9 square. Plus 6 times 9 is 54. And anything multiplied by 0, 0 plus 0. So I have this. So 2 times 81 should give me 162 plus 54 plus 0. Now I have this as 2, I'll write that 2, 1, 316. This is in base 10. So I have this in base 10. If I convert this, base 4. If I convert this, base 4, all right? Is it base 4? Sorry, base 2. If I convert this in base 2 to base 10, I'll have 100 in base 2 is equal to 1 times 2 raised to power 2 plus 0 plus 0. Anything I multiply by 0 is 0. I think you guys get that. So I have 1 times 4. 4 so what I'm doing here is I'm dividing 316 by 4. So 316 divided by 4 equal to 66 base 10. So if I divide 316 by 4, I should have 79 is equal to 66. And don't forget this 79 is on base 10. But then 66 is not in base 10. So I have to convert the 66 to base 10. I'm converting 66 to base 10 from base n. What I'm simply going to do is I have 66n is equal to 6 times n raised to power 1 plus 6 times n raised to power 0. So this will give me 6n plus 6. So converted this to base 10. So I can say 79 is equal to 6n plus 6. And then if I bring this to this side, I have 73 equals to 6n. If I divide through, I should have 12 point something, which is a decimal. And obviously, it's not in the question. The answer is not in the question. Probably the question is correct. There's a typo error in the question or something, or probably the answer is not in the question. So we'll move on to the next one, which is number 5. It says express express 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 4 divided by 2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5 as a fraction. So express 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 4 divided by 2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5 as a fraction. So what I'll do here is, first thing is I'll take this side first, and I'll take this next. So this is the same as 8 times 10 raised to the power. Anything when you have a negative number rule of indices, I can make this 1 over 10 raised to the power 4. This is the same as this. Don't forget 10 raised to the power minus 4 is equal to 1 over 10 raised to the power 4. This is one of the rules of indices, or rather, you call it laws of indices. All right, so I have this 8 times 10, 8 times 1 divided by 10 raised to the power minus 4 divided by 2 times. I'm going to do the same thing for this 10 raised to the power minus 5 here. So I have 1 times 10 raised to the power 5. So I have this. So I can say from here 8 divided by 10 raised to the power 4 divided by 2 over 10 raised to the power minus 5. There are different ways you can go about this. You just go with one that is most comfortable with you. So from here, I can cross multiply and say 8 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 5 over 2. So from here, I can say 2 here and then 4. So from here, I can say 2, 10 and 4. I'll say this can go here 1 and this can go here 10. How do I get that? This is the same as this 10 raised to the power 5 is the same as 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 5 times. Why this is the same as 10 times 10 4 times. So I have this. So I have 4 times 10. I'm not sure the approach I use is correct. Probably I use the wrong approach. So definitely this is not the solution to this. So what I'm going to do here is I have this 8 times 1 divided by 10 to the power 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them one after the other. This and this and then this and this. So how do I do that? I have multiplication here and I have division here. So what I'm going to do here is 8 divided by 2 multiplied by 1 to the power of 10 to the power 4 divided by 1 power of 5. All right, so from here, I'll say 2 raised to the power of 3 is 8, right? Divided by 2 raised to the power of 1. I just want to show you how to do this using indices because that question is on indices. Multiply by 1 raised to the power of 10 divided by 1 over 10 raised to the power of 5. So from here, I can say 2 raised to the power of 3 using the indices rule. When you have division, it becomes minus. The power becomes negative. When you have multiplication, it becomes plus. So I have this 10 times. I can actually convert this back to the normal form it was in the question, divided by 10 raised to the power minus 5. So I have this 2 raised to the power of 3. 2 raised to the power of 3 minus 1 is 2, multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 4. And if I use the division rule that I used here, I'll have minus 5. I hope you guys are following me. So I have 2 raised to the power of 2 here, multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 4 plus 5. And I have 2 raised to the power of 2 times minus 4 plus 5, that's 10 raised to the power of 1, minus 4 plus 5 give me 1, that's 10 raised to the power of 2. 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4 times 10. I still got 40. I think the answer is not in the question because I still got 40. So solving it using the first method I used, which was faster, and also this one actually I did, I also got 40. Probably the question was not written the way it should be written, or the arrangement of the question was not well, or the answer is not just in the question. So you have the answer as 40. Let me look at the question very well. Probably I didn't interpret it. That's how the question is. So I guess probably there is another typographical error in this question. I don't know, but if there is no typographical error in the question, this is the answer to the question, which is 4 times 10 is 12. 4 times 10, which is 40. So the answer is 40. But probably this is supposed to be 6. If this is supposed to be 6, or maybe this is supposed to be, I don't know. Maybe there is another typographical error in the question. So solving this, I have this as 40. So my answer is 40. So and then number 6 says find the values for which 22 raised to the power of y minus 3. There's also a typo in that question. So I guess, not all the guys doing this typesetting, all of that. Not all of them are mathematics students, so you just write what's the best for them. So there's no way you can really make all those stops. It's not everybody understand mathematical functions like this. So that's number 6. Yeah, number 6. There's also a typographical error in that question. So move on to number 7, which says if the 8th term of an AP question says if the 8th term of an AP is 3 times the second term, and the sum of the first 3 terms is 18, find the first term of the AP. So the question is if the 8th term of an AP, 8th term, I hope you guys know what is AP and GP. So the 8th term of an AP, I can say C8 or U8, any one of it. Is 3 times the second term. 3 times the second term, that's 3 multiplied by the second term. The question now continues, it says, and the sum of the first 3 terms, which is equal to 18. It means the sum of the first 3 terms, which is T1 plus T2 plus T3, is equal to 18. Find the first term. So the question says the 8th term is 3 times the second term, and the sum of the first 3 terms, T1, T2, T3, is equal to 15. Find the first term. Don't forget the first term in an AP is represented as E. The first term is equal to E. Now, how do we calculate what's the formula for calculating terms of an AP? How do you calculate the terms of an AP? Say Tn is equal to A, which is the first term, plus N minus 1D. Now, A is my first term. N is the particular term we are looking for. In this case, let me say if we are looking for 8th term, my N is going to be 8, right? Why is the common difference? Common difference is simply the difference between those terms. The difference between, I can call it the difference between the consequence term from the first term. Let me say I have T1 and T2. We want to find the difference between this term. I'll subtract T2 from T1. So common difference is always constant. That's why it's a sequence. So if I subtract T3 from T2, it's simply the difference between consecutive terms. That's what common difference is. The difference between consecutive terms. I hope you guys are with me. So I have this as the formula of calculating Or are we arithmetic progression? So I have this. So now in this question, I said the question says the third term, or rather the eighth term is three times the second term. So I can say eighth term using this formula is equal to v plus n minus 1 d. And I can say T8 is equal to V plus N8 minus 1 is 7, 7B. I have this as my eighth term. So moving to the second term is equal to V plus 2 minus 1 D. And this will be A plus 2 minus 1 is 1, and 1 times D is D. So A plus D. So my T2 is A plus D. So what I want to do is I want to write out equations for all these our terms here in terms of the first term and the common difference. So that's what I'm trying to do. All right, so I have my T2, A plus D. So moving to T3, which is T3, the third term, I say A plus 3 minus 1 B. I say A is equal to 2 B. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I have this. So now, if I'm replacing all of this into this equation, from the first equation, I have T8 is equal to 3 times T2. My T8 is A plus 7D is equal to 3 times my T2 is A plus D. So I have A plus D. But I can say here A plus 7D is equal to 3A plus 3D. That's if I open the bracket and multiply 3. I use 3 to multiply what is in this bracket. I hope you guys are with me. So I have A plus 7D is equal to 3A plus 3D. So I can continue here by collecting like terms and say 3A minus A is equal to 7D minus 3D. So what I did is I brought, okay, let me make it this way. Let me say 7D minus 3D is equal to 3A minus 3. Still the same thing. What I did is I'm bringing this 3D to this side and I'm taking this 3A to this side. So because I'm switching sides, we are changing signs. So I have 4D is equal to 2A. So let me leave it at this. Okay, let me just simplify it and say D is equal to 2A over 4. How do I get it? I divided through, or I divided both sides by 4. Divided this side by 4, divided this side by 4. I have D is equal to 1 over 2. Because 2 is common. So I have this. Let's mark this out. D is equal to 1 over 2. So now moving to this second part of the question where it says the sum of the first three terms is 18. I can say C1, which is A, 18, plus my second term, A plus D, plus the third term, which is A plus 2D, is equal to 18, right? So I have this. The first term plus second term plus third term is equal to 18. That's the sum of the first three terms. I hope you guys are following. So I have A plus A plus D plus A plus 2D plus 18. So here I would like to collect like terms, bringing all the A's together and the D's. So I have A plus A plus A plus D plus 2D equal to 18. So I have three A's. So if I add this up, A plus A plus A, that will be 3A plus D plus 2D, that's 3D, is equal to 18. So I have this. So permit me to continue from here. So I have here 3A plus 3B is equal to 18. So on my left hand side, I figure the following. On my left hand side, 3 is common. So I say 3 bracket A plus D is equal to 18. Right? Because 3 is common, I use 3 to open the bracket. If I open this bracket back, I make 3 a factor rather. So if I open this bracket, I'll have 3A plus 3B. So here I can divide 2 by 3 to get A plus D is equal to 6. So I have A plus D equals to 6. Don't forget from here, I marked this out. I said D is equal to 1 over 2A. So I can replace 1 over 2A with D in this equation. So I say A, instead of writing D, I'll write 1 over 2A plus 1 over 2A is equal to 6. Right. So now to get rid of this fraction, what I want to do here is I'll multiply through by 2. So when I'm multiplying this by 2 to take out this fraction, because the 2 I multiply by this, cancel out this 2. I hope you guys are following. So how do I do that? I'll say 2 times A plus 1 over 2A times 2 is equal to 6 times 2. Like I said multiply through by 2. So now, this is going to take out this, right? Then I have, so here, I have 2A plus A is equal to 12. That's 6 times 2, 4. I have 3A is equal to 12. And if I divide it by 3, I'll have A equals to 4. So which means my first term is 4. Which in the question or which in the yes, in the question is option A. I have my first term as 4. So how did I do it? How did I do it rather? I wrote down the equations for the first part of the question, the second part of the question, that first part of the question, which is the eighth term is equal to 3 times the second term. And then the second part of the question is the sum of the first 3 terms is equal to 18. So after doing all of that, I got this d is equal to 1 over 2a. And after moving on, I expatiated on the second part of the equation, and I got a plus d is equal to 6. So I simply substituted 1 over 2a for d in this equation. That's why I did this. I got a is equal to 4 down here. So I hope you guys follow me. If you have any question, you can just ask them, and then we can move on. All right. So so we'll move to
So question 6.
Okay.
Question 6, please.
I said that question 6, there was an error in that question 6. I mentioned that.
Okay.
I said there's maybe typographical error or something like that. The question is not really clear. That's what I said about question
Okay.
6. All right.
Thank you.
Question 7 or all the questions so far. All right. So since there are no questions, I'll move on. I think we stopped at number 7, right? So now moving to number 8. So number 8 says find n if 314 base 10 minus 256, or rather 256 base 7 is equal to 240 base 10. So the question is 314 base 10 minus 256 base 7 is equal to 340 base 10. Find n. So this was similar to the question in number 4, which I said the answer is not there. So here, what we are going to do is, this is already in base 10, so we are going to leave it in base 10. So we have this in base 7, we convert this to base 10, and convert this 340 also in base 10 to base 10. Right, so the first thing is 256 base 7. How do I do it? I take index of this number 0, 1, 2. I have this 2 times 7 raised to the power of 2 plus 5 times 7 raised to the power of 1 plus 6 times 7 raised to the power of 0. All right, so I have this 2 times 7 raised to the power of 2, which is 7 squared. That's 49 plus 5 times 7 plus 6 times anything raised to the power of 0. Don't forget this is 0. Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1, so I have 6 times 1. Right, so from here, 2 times 49, that should give me 98 plus 5 times 7, 35 plus 6. All right, so I have 98 plus 35 plus 6. This is going to give me 139. Right, yes, 139 in this 10. So I have this 139 in this 10. All right, so this is 314 base 10 and 139 base 10. So from here, I also have to convert this 340 to base 10. I have to convert it to base 10. So I'll take index of this 0, 1, 2. I have 3 times n raised to the power of 2 plus 4 times n raised to the power of 1 plus 0 times n raised to the power of 0. Right, so here I have 3n squared plus 4n plus 0. So I have this. So converting this 340 base n to base 10, I have this. And then converting 256 to base 7 to base 10, I have this. So now putting all of this together into this question, I have 314 minus 256, which I converted to 139, is equal to 3n squared plus 4n. So if I'm subtracting this, I should have 173, yes. Or should I say 175 rather? Equal to 3n squared plus 4n. So from here, I can use, this is a quadratic equation. So I can use quadratic. I can use any of the methods of solving quadratic equation, either completing square, factorization, or formula method to solve this. So I have this. So what I want to do is I want to make this look as general formulas of quadratic equation. So how do I do that? I say 3n squared plus 4n minus 175 is equal to 0. So from here, if I want to use factorization, what I'll just do is I'll find the factors of factors of 75 times 3. I multiply 75 times 3. What I get, I find the factors that when I multiply them, I get whatever I multiply this by, what I get, I'll get that. So when I add them up, I'll get 4. What do I mean? 3 times 175. The answer I get, whatever answer I get, let me say I get ABC. I'll find factor of this ABC that when I multiply them, I get minus ABC because of this minus here. And when I add them up, I'll get 4n. All right, so I don't think there's time for us to do that, but we can also use solve it, which is x is equal to. Do you have any question? Somebody was trying to ask questions now. All right, so minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. So you can also use formula method to solve this. And your a is 3, your b is 4, and your c is minus 175. So because of time, I'm going to leave this to you guys. I very simplified it to this point. Then you guys can find solution to this. Don't forget, if you get a negative answer, bases are not always a negative answer. So which means you should have a positive answer and a negative answer. So the positive answer is the value of your base, which should be the question. All right. So the next question is okay, so we have just 1 minute more to the end of the class. So if you have any question, you can just ask them. Do you have any question so far? If you have any questions, you can just ask them. And also the remaining questions, which is like remaining 3 questions, we're going to complete them in the next class. So if you have any questions so far on what we've done today, you can just ask them. You have like a few more minutes to go. Less than 2 minutes. You can use that to ask questions. By the way, you can also, after solving this, you can send your solutions over. After getting the answer to this, you can send your solutions over. If you have any questions, you can just ask them.
No, sir.
All right. Listen. Someone was trying to